In light of the conversation around the Olympics, the topic of the intersex have came up. Now, it's important to distinguish that folks who are intersex do not identify as transformers. No, they do not. This is a different community. But in light of the, hey, is it fair for XY chromosome people to box against XX chromosome, it sent us, unfortunately, down a dark path of trying to figure this whole situation out.
Oh, yeah.
And somehow this video was sent to us. I'm not sure if it was our Discord or on X or whoever, but they sent us this video, and we decided to go ahead and, CP sent me this. Shout out to the OG CP. All right, let's jump into this. This gets dark.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Explicit.
There's profanity in it, and it gets explicit and dark. I've warned you guys. Of course, we'll clean it up on the back end, but I've warned you guys. All right? All right, let's jump in.
This is Ruslan Anderson, is an intersex man. He was born with a vagina and an internal testicles. Ruslan didn't find out he was intersex until he was 11. This is his story.
When you were born, did your parents know that you were intersex?
It's kind of hard to tell if you're intersex normally at birth, unless you have like your ambiguous genitalia is so ambiguous that you obviously notice that you know the person's a hermaphrodite / intersex. Yeah. When I was born,
okay. Now, for the record, we're not supposed to use that word anymore.
Really? How long ago was
I don't think you're supposed to use the word
3 years
hermaphrodite. Okay. And what he is talking about specifically is ambiguous parts down there. So you don't know. You don't know, and you don't really know until you start entering puberty.
Wow.
A large clitoris, but there was no actual immediate concern or anything like that. So I had a vagina and a big clitoris, but yeah.
You were raised then as a girl?
Yeah, I was raised as a girl.
When did you notice there was a difference between you and the other girls?
I thought I looked like a girl, but you know, according to the whole of my school and everybody that's known me in the last 25 years, I look like a boy. There was nothing about me that screamed girl, other than the fact that I had a vagina hole. I had never like.
Now, again, this is not the same as what people are saying this is. These people do exist. This is a thing. It is not the same as someone being born in the wrong body.
Yeah.
Okay? This is someone who is literally, and to be fair, the language around this is co-opted by the transformer community. They have co-opted the assigned at birth because there are people that have ambiguous genitalia, and then they don't quite know, and so they say, hey, it looks like you're a girl. In his case, it looks like he was a girl, right? But he had testicles inside. They didn't find that out until he was 11 years old. And then he also had an actual vagina with a large piece of it. Okay.
So I'm curious if he has the XY
chromosome. Do not Google these images. I'm pretty sure he has an XY chromosome because he has testicles inside. I think he has testicles.
And you have to be XY to have a testicle.
He has testicles and eggs. He reveals that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Girls, I'd never like interacted with them. I'd never related to them. I always had a very raspy voice. I had no chest.
Pause it. I say transformer because it's easier than saying the other word, which will get the video demonetized and us nuked in the algorithm. That's why we say transformer. So it's less about disparaging them. It's just another way to say the thing, you know? Go ahead.
Like, I was in football teams, I was in basketball teams, I was doing the best in all of my sports.
Did that feel weird being different?
Well, again, he was doing the best in all of his sports. This is no fault of his own.
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
And when he was playing in the female sports.
And he was playing in the female sports against girls.
Just hooping.
Yeah, it was just constant comments. I knew when PE or something was going to come up, something where it involved like sport activities or anything to do with gym class. I knew that, you know, the girls were going to start, you know. I wasn't allowed to get changed with them in their changing room or anything because even though, like, I say clitoris, I say that loosely. My clitoris is basically like a very small...
See, people were doing OG.
We don't know the difference between him and Khalif.
Okay.
We do not know the difference between him and Khalif. We're presuming that they both have an XY chromosome. He clearly feels more like a man. Right? And he developed like a man, just like seemingly Khalif developed like a man.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that what he has isn't, he doesn't have a vagina down there. He has both. Right? That's the whole thing of being intersex.
I can swear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a very, you know, small Still has erections. It still has. It's very veiny, and yeah, I love it. So yeah, but obviously that was the
it's
conflict.
very veiny, and I love it. Do not Google images of this. Okay, don't do it. Don't do it.
How much of this can we even keep?
Interest all the time. It was the where to get changed, who to get changed, who to get changed next to, like who. It was this constant like a battle, like a like double-edged sword, 24/7. People's parents were coming up to me, asking me like they were in shock. They were just like, "There's no way you're a girl, you're a boy." You know, I got asked to lift up my shirt a lot, and obviously I had a very masculine chest. People didn't believe me. You know, these are grown adults that would do this as well. And because of the way I am, I didn't see it as offensive. I just saw them as dumb. Because if I've told you that I'm one thing and you're telling me that I'm not another thing, and you're like 30, 35, like that makes you look stupid. No offense.
I think you're allowed to defend them. But did that not feel embarrassing?
Sometimes I would feel like, you know, maybe they're right. Like, am I a girl? Like, maybe this whole girl thing ain't for me. And I think there'd be like once or twice where I'd maybe be like angry that they're asking these.
Pause it.
Oh, we got
Austin writes, is that for real? Austin writes says, I was born with both.
2. It sucks. I'm just asexual, no sex or relationships, no friends. Damn.
Oh man, Austin, if you're not trolling us, I'm so sorry. That's a bummer. I was born with both. So do you know if you're XY chromosome or XX? Yeah, this I want to say this affects 1/3% of the population. 1/3 or 0.5% of the population.
Oh, 1/3%.
Yeah, Google that real quick.
7.1 in every 1,000 elite female athletes have intersex condition. This is 140 times higher than the general population, which is estimated to have 1 in 20,000 people.
So we're all getting educated. It's
Yeah.
okay. I mean, you know what? I Googled this a long time ago and fact check this too.
Okay.
I Googled this and found out that this is actually prevalent. You guys are going to be shocked. Some of you guys are going to think you're same-sex attracted after I tell you this.
Oh, what?
I heard that this is actually, listen, let me get the thought out. I've heard that this is very prevalent around high fashion models, women models. Because what are women models usually? What do they got to be? What does a model got to be, everybody? Tall.
And skinny.
And skinny. So if you're dealing with tall and skinny models, so I've heard that this is actually prevalent in that community. Now I haven't looked it up in a while, but I don't know how I found that. About 15 years ago, I found this out. You found it. Mr. Wang has appeared in his labels campaigns and is regularly booked for Chanel, Prada, and revealed that she is intersex in late January through Instagram. Yeah. This is it's more likely to be amongst elite level athletes and models because models have to be tired, and when you just sparse out the population for tall women, you're going to get less and less tall women.
Really? Wow.
You know, because they're like 6 foot. They're all like 6 foot tall.
That's crazy.
You know, and I don't mean to be that guy, but like that. Come on, like that's a woman.
That's not a man.
That's not a man. You know? So, and again, Christians are freaking out about this because they think that this somehow validates the conversation around, you know, gender affirming care and all this nonsense. This is not the same thing. Let me go back to what Austin is telling us in the chat. Austin, I appreciate you opening up, man. If you want to call in, I'd love to chat with you. No pressure though. Austin said, what's sad is my parents couldn't have me for years and wanted a normal girl and got me. Oh, well, I just try to be nice to people. I look androgynous. Most people assume trans since. Yeah, that sucks, man. Well, thank you for being here. And if you want to share more of your story, like, I think this is a time where like Christians legitimately just catch L's.
Yeah, they definitely do. Austin, do you identify one direction more than the other? Like, do you resonate more male or? Yeah,
it's hard to. I can't really tell this picture, but I would assume.
But he says most people assume trans, so maybe he feels
he probably looks or Austin probably looks more masculine.
Goes by Austin.
Goes by Austin, which is there any girls named Austin?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, has more masculine features, but sounds like there's both down there. You know, biological, yes. Well said, Taylor. Biological anomaly versus delusional is the difference between intersex. Yes.
Yeah, that's really sad. That's really hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's. Listen, God can use and does use people. In the scriptures, you had eunuchs right? Who some could argue perhaps fit this condition, or who knows, right? But it's more around society engaging with them and how ostracized they have to feel, especially now.
Yeah.
20, 30 years ago, it'd be like, oh, you know, or you could pass as one or the other. And now, because of all the ideology and all this stuff that
People
and this-
think
people
like,
think
oh,
you're being
you're-
malicious and you're trying to do that.
You're left leaning. You're
Right.
transgender.
Right.
You're
And
all these
Austin could
things.
just be like, yo, I'm
just chilling.
I'm just chilling. Oh yeah, I definitely look more masculine, but I have a female singing voice. Wow, husky voice, but not super masculine. I have hip booty, hips, booty, small breast. Interesting. So masculine in the face.
Huh.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to this story. Go ahead.
Tough times, like in every single lesson at school. Constant questions. I couldn't ever focus on my lessons. I think I failed a few of my GCSEs just because of all the question asking alone. I was having really, really, really bad abdominal pains, and I thought it might have been stones. I don't know what it could have been anything. So I went up to Lewisham Hospital and I got my ultrasound done. Well, I had to wait for my ultrasound. I had to go to my GP. Then I had to finally got my ultrasound, and then when they did the ultrasound, they saw the testicles, which were placed like either side where you'd think like the ovaries would be, I guess.
Just to break it down, so you had inverted testicles in your body.
Yeah.
Did you also have ovaries?
Yeah, and ovaries as well.
In
Wow.
your body
Okay.
as well?
Yeah.
So there are some folks who are intersex who, from my understanding, have both parts
Both reproductive parts.
that I believe, fact check me on this, can menstruate and get pregnant. Wow. I don't know if that's true. Okay. But if he has ovaries, I wonder if that's what that means. I'm curious. I have heard that before. So what did we find?
Yes, many intersex people can get pregnant, but the ability depends on the reproductive anatomy. Intersex people may have differences in their anatomy, chromosomes, and or hormones that impact their ability to get pregnant. However, many intersex people have ovaries and or testes that produce egg or sperm, which can lead to pregnancy. So if intersex person has a uterus, they may be able to carry a pregnancy. So I guess it just depends how much of a certain biology you developed. Like it doesn't mean you are XY, I guess. Can you be X?
I think Austin said
He
he's
said XXY.
XXY.
Let me look that up.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I hear some need a donated egg. Yeah, I believe the track star, who did we cover earlier?
Castor Semenya.
Yeah, I think she has kids.
Oh, that's cool.
I think she has kids.
So then you could really go your whole life not knowing.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, I had kids. I had,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Most rabbit holes you go down get dark eventually, pretty much all of them, which is why so many people don't look into things too far because they get offended and can't handle the truth. Yeah. All right, let's go back to.
So at this point, you have everything.
I had everything. I had the male and the female of everything.
That moment when you get the scan, how did you feel?
Like everything made sense. I felt like everything made sense. I felt like at the end of the day, I had a hunch. I kind of already knew.
Pause it. So yeah, Castor Semenya fathered kids. That was correct on that. So I think
Fathered mean supplied sperm?
her sperm. Fact check that. We're not gonna be like those other channels that just jump the gun and just start saying stuff. We're gonna make sure that we do our due diligence to, speak accurately, because I think that's the least as Christians we should be doing, speaking accurately.
Oh, Castor Semenya has a wife.
So what is that? Okay, so honest question, what do you guys make of that? Is this a same-sex marriage? Wow. Right?
Wow, Ruslan. Because if you're gonna make the argument that the purpose of marriage, one of the key purposes of marriage is to reproduce, and she can reproduce with a female,
Yeah, Blair. I don't know if you just tuned in. We're talking about the conversation around the intersex, right? And Castor Semenya is the person who won a gold medal, lost the gold medal, and then sued and got her gold medal back. Yeah.
Okay, wait. Can you compete as a woman but identify as a father?
Well, okay, now that's a fair conversation.
Because
That is a reasonable conversation. If someone has an XY chromosome and they have clear advantages, like let's just say, I think specifically her test was too hard.
okay.
I think her test was too high, meaning that the average woman's test on the higher end of the spectrum is like 70 or 80. The average man's test is like 600 to 800. The average man's test like 600 to 800, and then you could be above that. You can be in the thousands. Right? Past 1,000, you're probably on gear or something. And then there's more men that maybe have abnormally high tests, slightly above 1,000. When you're intersex, XY chromosome with a vagina, you have extremely high testosterone. And that is an unfair advantage. So yes, I think it is more than reasonable to say that they probably, at least in combat sports, should not be competing against biologically born women. So I don't think the Italian girl that got punched in the face and said she's never been hit that hard, I don't think she was lying or being dramatic. I think she's never been hit that hard. Right? Now, it's also interesting that Khalif has lost to a biological woman before. So that's interesting, you know? I would look into Trent Horn's response to the case and Jason Everett. They both have talked about this. I'll check out Trent Horn's video. I love Trent Horn. This is why this identify nonsense is just stupid. I think both parts can't function fully in intersection people at the same time.
So it looks like they had to do artificial insemination, but I can't get 100% locked down on this online. But
for Castor.
But I think it was Castor's sperm.
Actual sperm.
But it was through artificial insemination.
Yeah.
Weird. So a lot of things going on there.
So someone said Castor Semenya is not in a same-sex relationship because he is a male. Yes, I've been following Castor closely. They were able to identify Castor as male. So Blair, would you think that then Castor shouldn't compete? Because that would be the logical conclusion, right? The Hardline is not generalist. It's productive of either viable eggs or viable sperm, large or small. To my knowledge, no human has ever managed to produce. But okay, great. Thank you for clarifying that. So that's a great point. So apparently, you can have both a uterus and testicles, but you cannot both produce an egg and a sperm.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like. The Hardline is
interesting. Well, it sounds like
so. Is whatever you produce then considered your biological sex?
That sounds fair to assume. I would say from a God creation standpoint, what would a heterosexual marriage look like for you? It'd be the one that you could produce in.
Yeah, but what if you don't know? What if you don't know until you're like 25?
Well, you can get tested to see if you have eggs.
Okay, I know that. I'm saying if you're Khalif and you're in some village in the middle of
and
you know what I mean?
You marry a man, and you're XY, and you can actually
and you have what looks like a,
yeah. I mean, this guy talks about having a vagina.
Who does?
This one right here.
Yeah, go back to that.
I'm here.
I need to want to be a boy, but then to want to be a girl didn't make sense neither to me. I just wanted to 1 minute literally just put on, something nice, look like a girl, and then the next minute put on something really nice, look like a boy. 'Cause I could do both. Trust me, I was a beautiful girl. But obviously, I don't know. I just feel like I got so much respect being a man than I did being a girl. So I just thought to myself, well, I might as well be a man then. So a lot of my decision was swayed, which is sad to say, on other people's opinions, but it was also something that I knew that I wanted, because I knew that if I would have stayed as a woman, I would have always thought, what would life have been like as a man? If I stayed as a man, which I am now, I often sometimes think, what would life have been like as a woman?
You have a discussion with your parents then about how did your parents feel?
My mum and dad, especially my mum. Okay, Dad, you too as well. I know you've tried your hardest to be able to get your head into terms with how we're gonna live as a family. What about if I change my mind? But my mum has always been there. She came with me to all my appointments, my endocrinology appointments. She came with me to all the therapy appointments. They were far, and she came with me to them. And we kind of celebrated it after each time. This was kind of like her version of her son going through puberty and knowing that this is actually natural and this is normal. This is something we couldn't have helped. And she's been so supportive.
Can you pause that? Can you search up XY chromosome and what that means real quick? Because that was what Austin was saying. He probably has, though it sounds like Austin never had a test, if I'm tracking correctly. What is that? And
A
isn't
genetic condition that occurs when a male is born with an extra X chromosome, also known as XXY syndrome. This condition caused by a random error during development and is not inherited. XY chromosome
someone said boy or girl?
Symptoms. Known as XYY. Wait, what? Oh, I thought it was XXY. Can cause a range of symptoms that vary in severity. Smaller testes and penis, breast growth, reduced muscle tone, narrow shoulders, wider hips, weaker bones, reduced facial and body hair.
Okay. Google if it's if someone XXY is a male or female. I don't think we're gonna get an answer.
Oh, the first one, look it up. XXY is a gender condition that causes males to be born with an extra X chromosome, making them genetically male. This condition is also known as Klinefelter syndrome. Well, then let's see. Is XYY male or female?
So there's XXY and XYY?
Yeah. XYY syndrome, also known as 47XYY syndrome or Jacob syndrome, is a rare genetic condition that affects males only. So it's all still only males.
Still males.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it appears you get the advantages of being a male while having female appearing genitalia.
So then when you were 15, you wanted to live as a man. So what has to happen now?
So I got Susten on. So it winds out your face more. I went from a size 7 to...
What? He got sustenance, testosterone replacement. Whoa. Pre-surgery, he got sustenance. Okay.
So he went full.
Size 10.5. And of course, obviously, it gives you more bonus. You get every single morning like a regular guy would anyway.
Whoa.
You get very hairy, like everywhere, until then your face then becomes like really hairy. I loved it. Love it. I was just every sec like, it was the best times of my life, actually. I'm not even gonna lie. The best times of my life. I looked amazing. And I was going to the gym every day. I was really using the testosterone to build what I think should have been built.
So
Yeah.
how much does this get his test now up? You know what I mean?
I mean, like maybe a little while ago. Do you get what I'm saying? So it was a thing where I was just using the testosterone to the best of my advantage.
Yeah.
It's intense, right?
Wow.
So primarily is something that affects biologically born males, but I do not think that this is malicious in the same way that I believe Aaliyah Thomas was malicious.
And I could be wrong.
And even Aaliyah Thomas is confused.
Yeah.
Right? But like that to me is harmful. Like, now at this point, I think it is a fair conversation. And I believe we're going to have this conversation can someone like this compete against a biologically born woman? Mm-hmm. And is it the same as Michael Phelps having double inverted joints and being able, right? Like, because Michael Phelps has a bunch of
50% lower lactic acid production.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Shout out to Austin, our resident person who is educating us on being intersex. I had a doctor ask me if I wanted testosterone when I went in after I was having discharges. Do I even want to know what is a discharge? The doctor was shaking when he examined me. Oh my goodness!
The doctor
Austin.
asked me if I wanted testosterone when I went in after I was having discharge. The doctor was shaking while he examined me. The doctor was freaking out. You know how when you're supposed to go to the doctor and get checked?
The doctor's supposed to be the one that comforts you.
Yeah, and you're like, look, they see penises every day. Yeah. So I'm not going to be weirded out.
No.
And they're like, nope.
Remember, it's still very rare. So that doctor may have never, Austin, where are you from? That doctor may have never ever encountered that. And so was not the most comforting in a situation like that.
That's brutal, dude.
The boxer shouldn't be boxing if she has an advantage. Same for a runner, swimmer, etc. Our bodies will not always be what we aim them to be. We still get to cheat. I would agree. Male chromosome. The difference between Phelps is his advantage doesn't put others at an end. That's fair. So that's why I said specifically with combat sports. That's why I was asking you guys. You guys think specifically with combat sports because if you're swimming or if you're,
Yeah, I have a feeling that like if you can have a child.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm still hung up on the marriage thing. Mm-hmm. Like which. If you can inseminate
mm-hmm.
or get pregnant,
mm-hmm.
that is the direction
mm-hmm.
that you could lean.
Yeah.
And then it gets really sticky when you're like this dude. Then you get like testosterone and you just make a full jump somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Being like, all right, I'm like split down the middle, but then at the same time,
Well, again, but let's position it towards the athlete. Someone's been training their whole life. They're coming from a rural village. They don't know what they don't know.
and they just think they're elite.
And they just think they're elite, and then they make it to the Olympics, and then everyone's like, that looks like a, you know what I mean? And then they are so close to reaching their dream of having their gold. Yeah, I would say the higher road would be like, yeah, you probably shouldn't be competing against biological born women. I think that's a reasonable conclusion to come to. I'm not mad at anybody that's saying that. However, that's not the same. It's not the same as a Leah Thomas. You know, it's just not the same.
Definitely
and to
not the
come down on Khalif that way is pretty foul. And for Christians to be a part of that is pretty foul, in my opinion.
100%. I totally agree.
Thank you so much for checking out the video. Comment down below and let me know what you think. And be sure to check out this video that YouTube is recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.